This is Lucas Ross Sports. Lucas Ross, your commentator. We continue our 2022 college football predictions. The UCLA Bruins are up next. I'll give you my official prediction for this team, give you my thoughts on this team, go through their schedule, and I will go from there. But before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this UCLA team. 2021, the UCLA Bruins went 8-4 overall. Really good season last year for this team. I think they are going to be really good this year. I'll get to my thoughts on this team in just a minute. But 8-4 is a really good season for this UCLA team. Offensively and defensively in the rankings last year, we look at the offense, 13th on offense last year. This offense was really solid, and I think that's what won them the games last year. Defensively, they were 73rd. I think this defense should be a lot better, maybe in 2022, but it's just hard to tell what this UCLA team is going to look like this year. But 73rd on defense is, expecting it's not really good, but, I think they can really improve that number this year. Points per game and opponents per game, 36.5 points a game on the offensive side of the ball, so 36.5 points on the offensive side of the ball. Really good number there. Defensively, 26.8 points given up on the defensive side of the ball, so you got something to improve there for if you're UCLA. My thoughts on this team, I think they're going to be a really good contender in the Pac-12 this year. Maybe not make it to the Pac-12 championship, but I think they have a shot to maybe be a contender this year in the Pac-12 conference. Here's the schedule for UCLA, and as you look at this schedule, it is the easiest schedule in the country. People have said that UCLA's schedule is the easiest in the country. You see that opening three games. You get Bowling Green, Alabama State, South Alabama. Those are three straight games that they should take care of business in. Bowling Green will be a little tough. I think it's at only 90% though, because Bowling Green returns a lot this year coming back. But I think they should take care of business in these first three games, and it will be easy there. So they start out 3-0, win those three games against Bowling Green, Alabama State, and South Alabama. Next game is on the road at Colorado, so they open up Pac-12 play against Colorado. Colorado is a team that I'm not really high on this year. I don't really expect this team to be all that good. I think UCLA should go in there on the road and defeat Colorado. Probably by a blowout. I think this is an easy win here for UCLA. I just don't really see Colorado being all that good of a team this year. Next game is at home against Washington. This is on September the 30th. Washington's going to be an interesting team this year. They should be a lot better than last year. This is a team that I'm really high on, but I got to be honest, this is one of those upset alert type games. I think if Washington was ranked in the top 25, which I don't think they will be, but I think this is one of those games that I think UCLA can pull off an upset. I think it's one of those games because it is a good shot. UCLA is playing at home in this game, and it's a good shot. I think it's back and forth the whole way, and I think UCLA is going to pull off an upset. If this was a, top 25 showdown, I would go with UCLA. I'm going with the Bruins to pull off an upset if Washington was ranked in the top 25 in this, in this game, but which I don't think they will be, but if it was, I think UCLA can pull off the win, and I think they do beat Washington at home. Next game is against Utah at home. They get a bye week before playing this game, so that's the good news there for this team. You got a shot to maybe, beat Utah here as well. Utah is going to be an interesting team, though, this year. They were really good last year as well. I'm expecting UCLA to compete in this game. I think they will compete, but I don't think it will be enough, though. Just like that Washington game, I think it's a potential upset alert game, but I just think Utah has more talent than UCLA. I think they're going to come out with this win, and I think they do, lose to Utah. And actually, that's not a bye week before playing that game. They get a bye week after that Utah game, so that's good news. You get a bye week there before playing Oregon on the road. This is another game that I could see UCLA competing. And I'm going to say, I think UCLA does have a lot of close games this year. I think Oregon is going to be a little bit close as well, even though it's on the road. But with it being on the road, I really don't see UCLA pulling out a win here. I don't think they have what it takes to really, beat Oregon on the road. It's a tough place to play, and that's 2 losses in a row for UCLA. So I don't really see UCLA pulling off an upset. Next game is against Stanford here at home. I could see UCLA potentially upsetting Stanford this year, but Stanford is a team that I'm really high on this year. I expect this team to maybe be, a top 10 type team this year. maybe a top 5 as well. Stanford, I think, is going to be a dangerous team. Let's be honest, I think they're going to be a dangerous team, but not as dangerous as like other teams like Alabama or Ohio State. But I think Stanford has what it takes to be a good team this year. This game, though, is going to be close. I see UCLA competing in the first half. Second half, I think it's all Stanford. And I think the Cardinal will pull away, and I think they do defeat UCLA here. So that's 3 losses in a row there for UCLA. They play Arizona State next year on the road. So you get to the month of November now. And this is, a tough place. Arizona State is one of those trap games for UCLA if they were ranked in the top 25. Arizona State is a team that I'm really high on this year, but some people are not as high on them as I am a little bit. I think they're a really good underdog team. I'm not saying they're going to be a, Pac-12 contender. I'm saying they're one of those underdog teams. But I have this team, being a, big underdog this year. I had to go back and forth on this game, but, I had to go with Arizona State. I had to go with them in this game. Just with it being on the road, it's one of those trap games for UCLA. And I think if it was an upset alert type game as well, I would see Arizona State pulling off an upset. Because you just never know what can happen. You never know what can happen when you get into these games. And I think UCLA does lose on the road to Arizona State. They play Arizona after that on November 12th. Arizona is a team that I'm not really high on this year. I don't really see this team, being a big Pac-12 contender. They will have close games this year. This game is close, but maybe first half. I think second half, though, it's all UCLA. I think the Bruins do beat Arizona here. Next game is at home against USC. We know the status of USC this year. Lincoln Riley coming over, and, of course, Caleb Williams. Obviously, USC is stacked there, but I don't know how good USC is going to be. Let's be honest, how good will they be? And this game right here is a home game for UCLA. I like the Bruins in this matchup. I really do, because it's one of those games that could be an upset alert type game as well. And I really see UCLA pulling off an upset. I'm going to go with the Bruins in this game. I'm going with an upset here. And I think UCLA does defeat USC in this rival game as well. It's a rivalry, and it's really been, back and forth between these two. I got to go with the Bruins, though. I think they get it done this year, and I think they do improve to 7-4. California is their last game here on the road. This game is on a Friday here. California is a team that I'm not really high on this year as well. They weren't really good last year either, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one as a win there for UCLA. I got UCLA going 8-4 in this prediction here. I think it's a good record here. It's the same record as last year, but I think UCLA has a shot. This schedule is really easy as well. You kick off with 3 non-conference games, and then you got Colorado to open up things as well. Washington will be a potential loss. Utah is a potential win, though. But I think this UCLA team, they can also go 9-3. 9-3 is possible. 10-2 is possible. But I think 8-4 is a reasonable prediction there for UCLA. And overall, my prediction for UCLA in 2022 is 8-4. Stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.